Hello and welcome to Thief the Dark Project. A quick overview. But before I do anything else, I want to give a huge shout out even to the modding communities in general, but specifically the Thief modding community. As you can probably see from the screen, I have installed an HD texture mod, which not only allows for better quality textures, but also allows this game to be played on a modern system without any tomfoolery required. And for that I have to thank the modders an awful lot.
I was a kid. No parents, no home. Running messages and picking pockets to keep my ribs from meeting my spine. One night I saw a man. Folks just passed him by like he wasn't there. I thought he must have something valuable, so I snuck up on him and made a grab.
That's not for you.
Please, sir, I'm hungry. Don't tell the Hammers, I promise.
What is your name, boy?
Garrett.
You have talent, lad.
Let go of me, old man.
To see a keeper is not an easy thing, especially one who does not wish to be seen. We have a need for those as gifted as yourself. If you've grown tired of how you live, then follow me, and we will show you a different way.
Leave me alone.
As you wish.
I caught up with him just before he vanished into the crowd. It was the beginning of a very long education.
I decided to do the training mission to have some video footage running in the background. Thief the Dark Project. A very special game.
In the nearby rooms, I will instruct you in the various skills.
First time I ever played this game, I played it like a first-person shooter with a bow. And while I liked the theme and the atmosphere, it was nothing special. I couldn't see anything overly special about this game. So I left it at that. I played one or two levels and then just never. It's a game. And for some bizarre reason later on I was encouraged to play it on expert difficulty, which completely opened up the game. By the way, this is a showcase of how important not stepping into light sources are. The light gem in the middle of the screen is currently completely dark, which means we are virtually invisible, whereas it will be brightly lit if we are visible. The brighter that gem is, the more visible we are. The next room is about sound. Certain surfaces are more noisy than others, and moving quietly is definitely vital for success in this game. Something to always be aware of. When it comes to this game with the different difficulty levels, I would say that normal difficulty, Thief is a game. There's nothing more, nothing less. On hard difficulty level, it is a challenging game, and on expert difficulty, it is an experience.
Walk on quiet surfaces and move slowly.
Because of the restrictions employed once you play on expert level, you have to think in a very different way, and you have to be much more aware of your surroundings. You have to pay a lot more attention to things. This game deserves to be played on expert. The downside of playing it on expert level, of course, is the fact that this game by default is actually not easy. A normal difficulty is definitely not necessarily an easy experience, even when you have the free range to kill virtually anything.
That will lead you to your next task.
Because part of the challenge of this game is just as much navigating the different levels. It is a 3D game, as should be fairly obvious,
Select them by
and
centering them on screen until they light
unlike
up.
games before this, this one was relying on you actually thinking
Try
in
readying
3
your sword
dimensions.
and your bow.
Often, if stuck,
If you need your
you would
help.
find that you had to look
Now
up
let's go out to the courtyard for
to
some
find a
quick
soft
practice.
surface you could plug an
Ready your
rope
bow.
arrow into
Now
and then
arrow
use the
and
rope
string
to
by holding
climb
down the attack button.
up and
Make sure
progress
you draw all the
that
way
way.
in, or your shot will not have full power. Take aim.
This part of
When
the
you are ready to
tutorial
shoot,
we are
release your attack.
having the option to
See if you
test
can hit one of these
weapon
targets.
use,
Good shot.
which of
Keep
course,
practicing if you wish.
in
When you are ready to proceed,
if playing on
approach the
expert
training
difficulty
dummy and
level,
ready your sword.
is not super relevant. More about that in a bit. The game levels, you have the classic
Swing at the target
Rob
with the attack
Castle
button.
level.
A quick tap will give you a slash.
You also have the classic
Move the tip of
Rob
your sword to the left
uh,
of the target for a
be a
left
grave
slash, and to the
robber
right of the
level,
target for a right slash.
a level that
The
is
attack button down,
super
and release for an overhead
eerie.
swing. Try both slashes and
The
overhead
setting
swing on the practice dummy.
is absolutely
You're ready for a line of
super
work.
eerie, and the
Practice against your
occupants
partner.
of that
Enter the
area
combat sparring
can definitely spook even somewhat spook resistant players, and that is what makes this game so very special, is that the atmosphere is so thick, it's almost tangible, I think is a good word. Doing an editing cut here, not because I failed in a part where you can't fail, but I want to show off the well-known Easter egg in this game, and I forgot the order in which I had to do certain something, which is as soon as you disengage combat with this guard, 3 items will spawn on the table behind us. And one of those items is a key which is needed to open a door
Keep sparring if you wish.
down the
When you are
path
done,
where the guard
leave
came
sparring
from.
area. That's enough sparring for today.
The thing is though,
Please walk
the
over
guard,
to the
once
table.
he
Would you
walks
care
through
for
that
some
bit,
refreshment before we move
when he
on,
gets to a certain
young Garrett?
point, the gate will
Please pick up all
shut
the items
down
on this table. Cycle through
or
your inventory
come down
to
behind
see
him,
the objects you have in your
barring your
pockets.
access,
Once
so
an
you
object
have
is
to rush ahead of him
displayed, you may use it.
and use the
Have
key
something
on
to
this
eat
specific door
Then you may proceed.
in order
The
to find
next
out what
test is
guards are
waiting
doing
on
when
the
they're
other
bored.
side of the metal door.
And as everyone knows, they're playing basketball. Absolutely pointless little Easter egg, which is only available on expert level. But it is an Easter egg, pointless but cute. Returning to the different level types, some people have been arguing that the game gets more and more wonky plot-wise towards the end, and I can't say that I disagree, but I think it's a question of being willing even to just roll with it, because the fundamental gameplay remains through the entire game. Don't be seen, don't be heard. Don't engage unnecessarily into combats, because you most likely won't live to tell about
The
it.
door is locked, but the key from the table will open it. To unlock the door, select the key.
Moving
in your
on
inventory.
to the
Center
obstacle
the door
course,
on screen until it lights
the
up.
obligatory
Then use
obstacle
the key on the
course,
door. Good.
because
Now
of
head down
course
this hallway to get to your next test.
being a thief means scaling things and climbing things and jumping
Now
things.
you will learn new movement skills.
This little
First,
quick
climb the
tutorial
rope
will
like you're
give you a
dancing.
taste of how to do those
Move while looking
simple
up or down to
things.
climb up or down
It's
the
simple
rope.
in the training room.
Turn to change your facing.
On certain
If you're
levels
jumping
it
in,
definitely
you release
isn't
the rope.
very simple.
Now climb the rope to get to the top of the platform. Well done. Run and jump across the gap to the other
Besides
side of the
the
screen.
sword and broad-haired arrows, which has already been
Good
displayed,
jump.
you have access to other tools
This
such as the
obstacle
black
is
dack,
easy to
which is
climb.
meant to
You know how.
knock out
First,
people.
move close to the wall. Next,
Different
jump
types of
directly
arrows
against the
like
wall
water
and pull
arrows,
yourself
which
up.
can
Good
be
job.
used to
I'm most pleased
douse
with your progress.
torches,
You have passed the
fire
last
arrows,
test.
which can be used to
If you
ignite
wish, you may stay
torches,
to
but
practice your
usually
climbing and
used to
jumping,
blow
or
things up
swimming,
instead.
ducking, leaning, or
Moss
crawling.
arrows to
When you are finished, you may
use
return to your
on
chambers,
loud
known as
surfaces
your
to make them
network door.
quiet so you can
Farewell.
cross them without making
The
noise.
keepers were training me to be
And of
one
course
them,
the ever important
but I
rope
found
arrow, which
other
will
uses
usually
for
grant you
this.
access to inaccessible areas. Quickly just want to show off the difference between the difficulty levels, or the impact of your actions in various difficulty levels. First, on normal difficulty, there's a drunken guard and he shouldn't be drinking on his post. Here's his reward. Nothing came of that. So we try on hard difficulty. The same guard. He has been revived specifically for us to be able to put another arrow into him. And, yeah well, he died. Was just a guard. Who cares? Then of course we are going to try on expert difficulty. One of the defining factors of expert difficulty. Oh well, he killed her. Oops. You cannot kill on expert difficulty, which makes that a difficulty so much more interesting. A lot more difficult, but also a lot more interesting. Next up we're going to show off a little mechanic which is very well known and very common these days, but back then it was rather unique.
Could you possibly be any more
The way in
helpful?
which it was implemented, I should say. If you knock someone out, get them out of the way, because someone's bound to find them. Such as this guard here. He noticed his friend and realized that he probably shouldn't be sleeping the way he's sleeping right now. So he starts searching for whoever could have potentially done that. I think you can argue that certain guards seem to give up the search for you too easily, but the fact that it's even a part of a game of this age was a big thing back then. Another thing that's always impressed me is the way the game designers have anticipated a lot of actions, because the perfect hiding place for an unconscious guard. Well, no one will find him down here. Unfortunately, the guy's still breathing, and even more unfortunately for him, he's not a fish. So breathing water is not very healthy. And, oops. That's an anticipation level that always impressed me. They are still alive, they are just unconscious, and they can die after being knocked unconscious. And just for showing off how badly you are outmatched in a melee duel, that you can't possibly win. Because if you were to win it, you would fail the mission for killing. But a guard will two-shot you. Lovely. There are other mechanics which are requiring further play into the game in order to show off, and my intention is to try and do a playthrough of this game on expert difficulty, but it requires an awful lot of groundwork. It will most likely require some heavy editing to make a cohesive whole that looks presentable, but it is a longer term project, and I will get there, but I can't say when. Regardless, Thief is considered to be a classic, and it's considered to be a classic for a very good reason. Classics are something unique. They give you a unique experience, and they are usually very good. or unbelievably bad, and that's why they are classics in their own way. But as a stealth game, you would be hard pressed to find something more fulfilling than Thief. Devilishly hard, even on normal difficulty, but if you like stealth games, yeah, Thief the Dark Project is where it's at. It may not look super pretty, but something like this HD mod will definitely alleviate that somewhat. But ultimately, this game is all about the atmosphere, and it is so thick in most of the game. I should mention Thief 2, which was also made by Looking Glass Studios. Another great game, except for level 2, which should be removed from that game. Oh, I hate that level. But it just didn't have that. It was a great Thief game, and you could tell it was made by the same people, but it didn't have the same atmosphere as the original Thief. Later on, the team behind Deus Ex made Thief A Deadly Shadows, which again, it was a decent Thief game, but compared to the original Thief, it just paled outright. And of course, later again, you had the 2014 attempted reboot of the Thief series, or the Thief genre, whatever. And while I'd never played that game myself, and due to reviews, I never played it. What I could gather from players and reviews in general was that it was an association with Thief in name only, and an awful lot of people were very disappointed that it dared a reference to the original Thief when it had so little in common with it. Recently I watched a speedrun of the game, and even the speedrunner was saying without the Thief tag, that game would probably have been received a lot more positively than it did. But as I was saying, I intend to do a playthrough of this game at some point. And if you have found any interest in it, you may want to watch any of those videos, or you even want to get this game yourself. It is readily available through both Steam and GOG, and it is a very, very reasonably priced. And of course, with the mods existing to improve the games. If this is for you, it's a no-brainer to get it. So on that note, I'm going to say thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time. Bye bye for now.